Dennis Sid here, your Wrigley neighborhood realtor, and you're tuned in to W.W.W, Who's Who in Wrigley, where you get to meet the business owners within our community, see what they're all about, and hopefully get to visit them soon. Out front of Wrigley Coffee, and I'm going to be interviewing Andrew with Family Promise. He's the man behind Wrigley Coffee, and what they're doing and what their motto is to help people out, to get established, get some experience under their belt is incredible. You can catch me here every Wednesday from 9 to 11. I call it my Wrigley office hours. You can come ask me any real estate related questions, or if you want to map out your real estate goals, you can catch me here every Wednesday. Have a coffee, have a treat on me. Watch till the end of the video. We have a special promotion for you. All you have to do is screenshot, take it to the register, and you'll see what the promotion is. All right, well, welcome. We're at Wrigley Coffee here with Andrew, and he's the executive director of Family Promise in the South Bay, and he's the man behind Wrigley Coffee. So Andrew, introduce yourself to the Wrigley neighborhood community and let us know how you ended up here in Wrigley.
Right, yeah, that's a great question. In our name of Family Promise, it's of the South Bay, so people wonder like, how do you end up in Long Beach, specifically Wrigley? And really it was through relationships. We have connected with some of the Wrigley neighbors, and actually, even before Wrigley Coffee became a possibility, one of the faith communities reached out and said, hey, we have this house, we know you do housing for homeless families.
Wow.
Can you use this house? And we said, yeah, definitely. So we established a transitional shelter in the neighborhood of Wrigley.
Okay.
And then when this space became available, when the original coffee shop before us shut down during the pandemic, we thought like, hey, here's a great opportunity not only to get more involved in Wrigley because this community is amazing, but also a place where we can provide on-the-job training for people that need to develop some of those career skills. And so we thought, hey, what better place than a coffee shop? It's all about meeting together, being together, and that's kind of how we landed here and started this coffee shop.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about helping people transition and giving us that experience? Because that's one thing when I found out about this particular coffee shop that you guys were doing, I thought it was awesome because I know a lot of people are overlooked because of challenges they've had or transitions that they're making from a previous life. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you guys are doing to train these people and how that came about?
Totally, yeah. So one of the things that we've seen, especially over the past 2 years, is that jobs kind of ebb and flow, and their availability ebbs and flows. And there are a lot of really incredible business owners, small business owners, mid-sized business owners that are willing to give some of our families a shot. But what we realized is once our families are there, some of the trauma that they've experienced in the past, both in their jobs, by losing their home, or anything else, causes them to struggle to maintain the expected presence in that workspace. And so we started to think through like, why is that happening and how can we help them overcome that? And that's where Wrigley Coffee, a trauma-informed workspace, came about. And essentially the way that we're doing it is just like any other coffee shop. We train them to, do the latte art. We train them to do customer service, but we do it all within a trauma-informed lens where every one of our staff members is trained in trauma-informed care.
Wow.
Every one of our participants that comes in, they're partnered with a case manager that works with them, that works through some of that trauma. And we have supervisors that are ready to step in if we ever sense that there's a trigger coming up to bring up some of that trauma.
Wow.
So that they can help de-escalate the situation and allow them to grow and learn. Because what we've found out is most of our families are motivated to work. They just need a little bit of help getting to the spot where they can be out in a traditional workspace and working. And what our hope is that once we start to develop this model, every business will want to be trauma informed because whether we know it or not, you and I have experienced trauma as well.
Yep.
And sometimes we get triggered and we don't know how to deal with it. But if we have bosses and coworkers and other support groups in our professional workspace that are knowing and understanding, we can really thrive as a team.
I think that's great just because from a management standpoint, people deal with trauma and a lot of times we don't talk to them in the right way, and that's when they start calling in sick every other day. That's when they stop showing up to work. That's when you don't hear from them, and it does affect your business, but you don't really know what you're doing wrong if you don't know what you're doing wrong.
Exactly.
So I think that's awesome that you guys started off with a background like that and you guys are talking to people the right way. Because one thing that I've learned as an employee is if you're welcomed and they're treating you the right way, you're respected, it makes it easier to get to work. It's not always about the pay. It's not always about moving up. It's always about the environment and how you're getting speak to by your higher ups. And if they're talking to you like a human being, they're going to show up to work and they're going to give you their all. So I commend you for that. That's awesome. I know you have some real estate background. Is there any real estate related questions that you may have, or anything that you, from what we've talked about, is you've coached and you've helped real estate professionals? What do you think makes a great real estate professional in your opinion?
I think I probably used this word too many times just in this short conversation, but I think relationship is huge. There's a salesperson that their goal is to make a commission, and then there's a partner, right? There's someone that helps you find what are your problems, what are the obstacles to solving those problems, and how can I help you overcome those obstacles. So in real estate, whether that's bad credit, whether that's evictions, whether that's not that much cash flow coming in, whatever it is, how can you as a real estate professional see me as a person instead of a customer or a commission check, and say, hey, here are some of the obstacles. Let's make a roadmap. Maybe you don't buy a house right now, but maybe we make a roadmap. So in 9 months, in 2 years, we get back together and you've done these things, and now we buy a house.
Definitely.
Or, because I think buying a house isn't for everybody. It's not the right time for everybody. And for me, the best real estate professionals I've worked with are the ones that say, hey, that's not the road we should go down. Yep. Even though that would get me a bigger check, even though I would walk away from the situation with more money or whatever, that's not right for you. And I think that's really huge.
That was big. One thing I really caught from that is the relationships and not seeing your clients as a commission check. I think what makes a great professional is they have a big sphere and a big database where they're really coming from an aspect of trying to help, because the money doesn't matter. When you're doing good business, you have people to help, and if it's not the right time, you stay in touch with them and you can talk to other people, and you're not worried about the money. The money will come if you're doing business the right way. So I appreciate that information, and definitely I will be taking my notes, because we're here to learn. We're always here to learn, and you're a prominent business person in our community, so we always want to learn from the people that are doing something right. And this facility is beautiful. I love everything you're doing. What is one thing you've learned from the Wrigley community in the short amount of time? Because I know you guys are not running yet, and you will be running in a few days, and I'm super excited about that. What is one thing you've learned from our Wrigley community in the short amount of time that you've been here?
Right. Almost every neighbor that I interact with from the Wrigley community, the word that I would wrap around them is welcome. Right? They welcome every person, and they don't care, your background. They don't care where you came from. They don't even care if you represent something completely different than they do. They want to hear from you. They have this thing that we like to call in our workspace like appreciative inquiry. They ask questions to learn, not to rebut, not to knock down. And I think when you walk the streets of Wrigley, there's not one house that looks the same. There's not one person that looks the same. There's not, and that's the beautiful part. And everyone in Wrigley, at least the people that I've engaged with, embrace that. They don't fight it. They don't change it. Even along, if you walk down Willow, which is what we're on, you see some new businesses and you see some old businesses, and they're all having people walk in and out. And the same people, right? You'll see the same person going to the dry cleaner that's been there since before I was born, walk across the street to the beer lab that's newer, and they'll do business in both places, and that's what I love, is that there's no discrimination in where you're spending your money, where you're spending your time, and who you're connecting with.
Great. And in terms of Wrigley Coffee in itself, what is one thing that you're excited about, whether it's the menu, whether it's training the staff? What is one thing that you're excited about? Let's focus on the menu. What is your preference in coffee, or do you drink coffee?
I do drink coffee. So my go-to is an oat milk latte. And here at Wrigley, my favorite oat milk latte is with our mocha, because we use a dark chocolate. So it's not super sweet, but it just kind of like really hits you in a good spot and really warms you up. So for me, it's our mocha oat milk latte. I think really just kind of brings that warmth that we want to represent here.
And would you say that's the same for the staff, or what have you been hearing from the staff?
So
they're gravitating towards.
So our staff really like matcha. So our matcha drink, they really they gravitate towards that. I'm not a big matcha guy myself, but everyone that is really loves it. There's also a lot of floral teas that I think smell delicious. I've only tried one of them and it was great. So if you're a tea person, I think we have some great options for you. And I think there's a lot of different things you can try.
Okay. And let's just say there's a young entrepreneur here in Wrigley. Maybe they're fresh out of high school, they're going to school, they don't know what direction they want to go in. I know you've been involved in business and you may have started some businesses and you're currently involved in multiple businesses or nonprofits. It could be a nonprofit if you want to start a nonprofit. What advice would you give to somebody that's young to try to get their foot in the door and maybe they don't have the resources like capital? What advice would you give to a young entrepreneur that wants to get started and needs some direction?
Right. It's all about team, right? Building the right team. And that team can be people that report to you as well as that you report to. When we started this space, there's no way that I could have done that on my own. Our coffee is sourced from Solid Coffee Roasters up in Artesia,
Okay.
and they were instrumental in telling us. They gave us the equipment list, they gave us the dimensions of our countertops, they told us, hey, this is the flow, and this is how many employees you need to hire, because they had done it already. So we didn't need to recreate the wheel. You know, they kind of came in, and so they trusted us enough to share that information, and it's because there was mutual respect there. And so I would say building that team, and if it comes to capital, getting partners, getting people that you trust, that trust you, and that you tell them, hey, I'm gonna do all the legwork, I just need some of that cash capital. And we did that even here, right? We have donors that help support the making of Wrigley Coffee. We're a nonprofit. None of us are here working to really make money, right? We're here to accomplish our mission, and the donors rallied around that and gave us the support we needed to make this happen.
Awesome. So two things really stood out to me on that is team. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Team is important. That's one thing I've learned in my short real estate career. The people that help me, my wife, our team, the virtual assistants, everybody works together for a common goal to serve as many families as possible and do it the right way. The other thing is he didn't reinvent the wheel. A lot of times if you want to be successful, follow a successful person and do what they do. You don't have to veer off. I feel like a lot of times young people, they try to, I call it popcorn money. They try to do something and try to get rich really quick. That's not the way it works. Don't reinvent the wheel. Build a team. A team, you don't have to always help people. You guys can work together. You can find a partner, 2 people to start one business. You have a team. A team is not 3, 4. It doesn't have to be 20 people. A team could be 2 people. My wife and myself, we're a team, and we have plenty of people that help us out. And that's the way we're finding success in a short amount of time. So I really appreciate that feedback. I'm sure that alone is going to help out a lot of people. And I just want to thank you for your time. I know today is a busy day and you have a lot on your schedule. So I appreciate you for speaking with us.
For sure. Thank you so much. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.